the Window Tinting Queen. Today I have Carlos, aka the Texas Squeegee, coming on with me, and he'll be on shortly, you guys. Give me a second because I do want to share the link across the platforms here. I don't see my link, so. Let's give it a minute because we have to. I don't see the link on my end. Are you sure you're linked on with me? Okay, here's Carlos, aka the Texas Squeegee.
I think what you guys really meant to introduce me as is the glass tinting, film slinging, tinter bidding, hell raising, trailblazing, most tint defying figure in all of tintertainment today, the one they call the Texas Squeegee, also known as the World Tintertainment Champion, the Texas Squeegee. And I'm back with the Window Tinting Queen with Spill the Beans. Now, Liz, you out there spilling beans while I've got the rice for this podcast. So we're ready to go to put on a entertaining episode. Let's get this show started.
Okay, yeah, we're going to get the show started, you guys, but I wanted just a few minutes because I do want to share the link across the platform so people can chime in. So just give me a second. Give me a second, you guys. Give me a second. Let me just share this across the platform. So bear with me just a moment.
Speaking of bears.
So people can log in. You want to share a bit about yourself, Carlos? Who is Carlos?
Well,
were you always in Texas? I mean, lived in Texas?
Yeah, the Texas Squeegee is a native of the Texas lands, and this is why I'll be putting the Texas butt whippings come June 12 at Tinter Battles 2021. No offense.
You guys know about the Tinter Battle where Carlos is the one that put it all together. It wouldn't happen if it wasn't for Carlos. Well, so he's the brains behind. He's the brain behind the tent battle, which is, 8 teams going one-on-one, right? One team is going to come home with the trophy. We're going to have 7 losers. So who's going to win?
Well, I think the crowd's already looking at him right here, along with my partner, Jason, the man, the myth, the legend, at TintDude3 on Instagram. But yes, I am not entirely the brain. Look, this is a collaboration of a lot of people that are coming to it. However, as far as
you put in most of the work, though, right?
I would say a lot of work was put into it. Definitely, I've had the help of a lot of people for sure. So I'm very forever grateful for that. This is really a unifying of people coming together with like mindsets, like hearts, to unify the industry for the world.
We need something like this. I mean, for us tenters too, we don't discriminate. We, kind of, like you said, unify as one. We don't need to threaten if another tent shop opened, their shop around the corner from us. This is pretty much kind of bringing all tenters together. And also it's a great opportunity to connect with tenters that Carlos and I, we're in, a huge tenting community that we do talk online. We communicate with other tenters. This is actually going to this has brought us together, has brought us closer together, actually. People that I wouldn't have ever even thought I would, like with Carlos. I don't think we've ever really, communicated with each other much. And then since this whole thing started, I felt like, Carlos is I feel like Carlos is a phone call away. If I need help with anything, I would call him. Carlos is such a down-to-earth person. Once you get to know him, he's a pretty cool guy. Carlos, so how long have you been tinting?
I've been doing this, I think, I don't even know. I think 14 years probably. It's been a while. It's been a while, but I don't. You see, here's the
What
thing.
were you doing before you were tinting?
I mean, I was tinting. I was making that cheddar, but I was away from the industry. I wasn't trying to pursue a career in the tinting industry, but I was actually a musician, and I was before the Texas Squeegee became the Texas Squeegee. I was a classical musician, and I was studying for that, and that's where I wanted to go. I wanted to be in the grand orchestras. I wanted to do solo traveling, going around the world and stuff like that, and putting on performances. That didn't work out, so I had to take the.
It is working out. The Texas Squeegee is going to do it. You kind of found a way to bring that talent into into the tinting industry, into your whole career. That's awesome.
Yeah, what's funny is like with some of my close friends that have been knowing me for some time, it really, really broke my heart when I had to get away from music because it just wasn't going to work out. And when some of the stuff started to happen, kind of what ended up really happening was the part that really broke my heart from leaving music was that I loved performing. And so there was an audience that I could perform in front of that I felt like once I walked away from that, there was no more audience left. And this provided a different platform for that. Now there's a new audience, a new platform, new everything, but the passion.
With your singing career, do you have like a YouTube channel that people can go and watch some of your music and stuff?
Oh, no. I used to play. So it's funny because Dean Mitchell brought this up. Before I had the big old squeegee, I used to play a big brass instrument called the tuba. So that was what I used to perform in. And if you type Carlos Olazaba on YouTube and put tuba, you'll see some of the stuff that I had put up there. I was
do you
always
play all sorts of instruments? I heard you do the guitar thing.
A little
with the
bit.
whole
you mean with Chisel, me Nizzle. Yeah, me and Chisel, we're getting along great now. He still hasn't come back home, but we got something. Like I tell you what, Chisel is more of a legacy than he is a mortal person. So you can't kill the Chisel. The Chisel will come back.
So, how many siblings do you have?
I've got 3 that are like basically from the same parents, and then I've got 2 others from different moms. So I guess 4 of us, 4 or 5, but 3 that I hang out with all the time. So they're my brothers. We're all boys, and I'm the oldest.
Oh, you are the oldest.
Oh,
and then your brother works with you, right? One of them or 2?
Yeah, one of them works with me full time, and then I've got another one who comes in part times on Saturdays. And so, when we're all together with the team, it's a lot of fun.
How did they get into the whole tinting industry? Because of you?
Yeah. They pretty much got in it through with me. Whenever I started Texas Tint Masters way back yonder at a flea market, and working on the weekends. And so that was whenever I started there.
So you were mobile? Were you mobile?
Not really. I would do mobile jobs, but I wasn't full time. I got pretty lucky with that position because I saw. So how it started was I was driving by a flea market one time, and I see this parking lot, and it's a 3-story parking lot, but the bottom story there was just parking spaces, but all I saw was a space with potential. And so I went and I asked the manager, and I said, "Hey, could I set up right here? And I want to try something out." And then he said no. And then I was like, "Well, why not?" And he was like, I don't know. I don't think it's going to work out. And I was like, "Okay, well, let me just do one weekend. And if that doesn't work out, then I'll pack my stuff. I'll head out that way and no questions asked." And he was like, "All right." So one weekend later, I'm like, "Can I come back the next weekend?" He's like, "Yeah." All right. So then I just started from there.
I love that you don't take no for an answer. I'm the same way. I love that.
Yeah, that's where everything started. Then I got my brothers working in there, starting to help out, and like I said, that's how I made my money for a while I was pursuing a music career. And then that didn't take off. The business is what was doing pretty good, but I was the one holding it back because I was trying to pursue something else. So once I came back, found a pretty decent location, and rented out there, and from there just started going to where all this is at now.
So how long have you been in business with the Texas Tint Masters?
Texas Tint Masters.
Your business, yeah. How long have you had the business?
Since about 2017.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then in high school, since you're so popular now, were you the popular kid in high
uh,
school?
I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think so. I mean, not with the full school, but within the music department, yeah, yeah, hands down. Because even like, I mean, we didn't come from a school of privilege, so my mindset was always I'm very competitive, but my mindset at the time was like, I don't care if I don't have the luxuries, if I don't have the privileges, like you're not going to outwork me. And that's one thing that money can't buy. So whenever I was going into these competitions, I knew for sure I wasn't going into with the best equipment or the best teachers, or like, because some of these other schools were hiring private tutors and we didn't have the money for that. And I didn't have the money for that. But I was like, I'm gonna put in so much work that there's literally physically you cannot put more time in a day than me, because we all have the same time, 24 hours in a day. You go to school for 8 hours, and I'm like, you eat, you sleep for maybe another 7 or 8. So I've got that time frame right there. And if I could maximize that time, that's going to put me in a pretty good position. And so I started putting my school, I started putting them on the map for winning some of these competitions. And so I was pretty popular in the music departments, but I don't know about the rest of the school. I really didn't pay attention to that. I was off of my
who
own work.
who would you say you look up to the most?
Oh man, in
Maybe
terms of,
growing up, was it your parents? You were the
um,
oldest, so you had to kind of, I feel like the oldest always sets the bar for, you
yeah,
know,
I don't know. I don't know. I think I even still to this day that I try to be a sponge with everything and everyone. Everyone has someone to teach you something. Either they teach you what to do or what not to do. So I try to keep an open mind to everything. But I don't know. I had a lot of influences really from highly successful people. You talk about Vince McMahon from WWE. You have Arnold Schwarzenegger and all his endeavors, and I mean, just a lot of business leaders and performers. Stone Cold Steve Austin, obviously, the beer drinking, beer swelling, The Rock, the Brahma Bull and stuff like that. So there's a lot of influences that come into play. I don't think I had one particular. There's phases, and certain phases I'm like, okay, I really looked up to this person at that time. I really whatever, but you leave
so like
away
growing
with,
up, who did you look up to?
man, I don't know. I don't know. It's like, it's hard to answer the question, because it may be in 2018, it would have been one person. And then in 2019, it might've been somebody else, or 2014 or something like that. I don't know. There's just a lot of influences that attribute to a lot of the shenanigans I do today.
So where do you see yourself in like 5 years?
Oh, as the most tint-defying figure. No, I don't know. I don't know. All I know is, look, what's going on with Tintertainment right now, and even really Texas Tint Masters, the Texas Squeegee character. All I know is that this is kind of like a rocket ship, and I'm just holding on tight and really trying to keep putting fuel and seeing where this goes. But 5 years from now, where I would like to be is obviously Texas Tint Masters. For it to be, I want to turn that company into a place where people can come in and feel more like they are a part of the ownership of the company. Because I don't plan on making most of my money, definitely not all of my money, through that. So if I can give back more to the employees and have it be more of a culture thing, that's what I would like for that to get to. As far as the Tintertainment brand, the Tintertainment is more of a network. And with that network, I want to have different types of content, shows, but reality shows, podcasts, documentaries, short films, stuff like that. I mean, just content projects that really, the goal that I have with Tintertainment is that I think that in this industry, we have a lot of superstars, you
Mm-hmm.
being one of them. And
Thank you.
sometimes there are people that are out there that don't know that they have that within them. It's just the right set of circumstances, the right person in their ear will unlock that superstardom that they have. And then boom, all of a sudden they blow up. So what I want to do with entertainment is I want to be able to provide a platform for those kinds of people that can really shine a bright side to the industry, but so that we can broadcast it for the world through entertainment. That's where I want to
Yeah,
go with it.
that's awesome. Let me go through some, let me see if it's entered. Do we have any questions or anything like that? Let's hear it for the firstborn. It's family business. Anyway.
I got a new hat, by the way.
Oh, where? Let me see. Oh, nice.
It's a Texas
Nice. I
squeegee.
saw that. Yeah, Carrie posted a picture of that. That's awesome. Is that your signature for the Texas squeegee?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Nice.
hopefully we'll come out with some stuff with that in the
No,
future.
I'm
But
always eager to see what you come out with. How do you like get ideas for your videos for,
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just it's passion and energy that goes into it. But I'll tell you what, the one thing that I've learned is how much encouragement can mean to somebody else. So I try to push that message out to people, like encourage others, because you never know what it might mean to someone. I do want to take a moment and kind of give a special shout out and a special thanks to Eric Devash, because he was the
Oh
one.
God, we all love Eric.
Yeah, he's the industry's most beloved person. I think, me personally, I think the world needs to know about him, because he's doing so many great things for the industry that if it could be magnified to the world, I mean, the impact that a guy like him and with his actions and mindsets and heart can have on the rest of the world, I think it's incredible. But, early in January, I had this idea for kind of starting a reality show style shooting series. And so when I spoke to him about it, Eric was always a supporter. To me, he always held such high credibility because of his accomplishments and what he's done for the industry, that to have someone like him kind of look
Yeah.
at me at the time and say, hey, I believe in you. I trust in you. Move forward this idea. You're the right person for it. That to me is what kind of sparked them, like, okay, well, if he believes in me, well, then why can't I? And so that's where a lot of the ideas just started coming through. I mean, and then here's the other part. The other part was starting to come whenever you stop caring about what people really think about you, the negativity. Like when you stop caring about the negativity and start embracing yourself, because at the end of the day, there's only one you out there, and the only person that can play the best is you. So shed away those insecurities and hone yourself, be yourself, and then push forward and show it to the world. And it
But there are
started.
days sometimes we do get unmotivated. How do
Yeah,
you stay motivated?
you keep the vision in mind. You keep the vision in mind. And then the other thing is, like, what's going on. I mean, I can only speak on my behalf, but with this whole entertainment project, I feel that I have a responsibility to people. So on days where it's becoming overwhelming or it's starting to feel like it's on top, I think of the people that I feel responsible to, and the future generations that are going to watch the pieces of content that are coming out from here now. Because I know I'll be looking at some point in the future thinking, that little moment of weakness was an emotion, but that was temporary. I can't let that affect the current energies of what's being put into stuff right now, because this is what's going to live on forever. You don't want that moment of weakness living on forever with it as well. So keeping the vision in mind and just having an understanding that I have a responsibility to people, and those people are either people that I'm working with or an audience that's a
So when you
performer.
have someone who's being like totally negative against, kind of want to say making fun of us, like Window Tinting Queen, who the hell she thinks she is? Texas Squeegee. Who does he think he is? How should we respond to like that type of person?
One of them is you can't engage with negativity, because so think of them as like energies, and there's a negative energy that comes back to you, and if you bounce
Yeah.
that back, that's negative energy coming off of you now. So one of the ways that, because I've had to go through some of this going through the Texas Squeegee and Entertainment, is one of them is you don't engage with it, number one, and number two, I always start with the position of empathy. So if someone is talking smack, I don't, maybe they're going through something in their life that is causing them to be this negative. So I try to reach out one-on-one, which is, it actually happened recently. Somebody was saying a few bad things about entertainment and stuff like that. So I reached out
What?
to them. Yeah. I mean,
Where? On the page or?
it was on Facebook, but the point is that was one of those situations where I'm like, okay, how do I go about this? Do I either block and delete, or do I reach out? Because I've never had a conversation with this person. So I reached out and just had a one-on-one, and ultimately it just ended up being a lack of understanding and misinterpretation, and we fixed it, and we ended up being on really good terms. And so that's how I've dealt with that negativity. I plan to do that. Some people, though, at the end of the day, it takes two people to really have a relationship, and the best that you can do yourself is to reach out and kind of extend your hand and say, hey, let's get to know each other. And if they don't want to do that, then that's okay. You've tried, and at least you can move on knowing that you tried to do it. You know, they tried to do it your way, but ultimately, if for nothing else, you just have to ignore it as much as you possibly can. Sometimes you can't, but as much as you possibly can, you have to ignore it, because if you're the creator, you can't be in the most creative space around negativity, and if that negativity bounces off of you, it takes away from you being you, and you can't do that. So
I think it's awesome where we do have, like, have we come up with the 8 team already? But all the 7 people in the 7 groups, I feel like we're kind of like-minded people. It's like I feel like like-minded people gravitate towards each other.
yeah. Yeah, and see, that was the pretty incredible thing about this. First you have the Donnie Dixon charity, which it's
Yeah.
for a great cause, and it's the start of something that is, even I don't understand. I know where it's going, but even I can't tell you where exactly it's going to end up. But I just know it's the start of something great. You have that, and then you have, I have to credit this a lot to David Carley. You have people that are separating themselves from the brand, the film that they choose, because it's not about that. People, you have to trust people that they make the best decision for themselves, right? So if you
Yeah.
choose a certain brand or whatever that works for your market, your business, great. With this whole thing that's happening with Tintertainment, it's not about, oh, I rep Expel, you rep Flex, you rep Lumart. This is, you're the tinter, we're in the same industry, and
Yeah,
we
exactly.
both benefit if the industry gets better.
Benefits. Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
you on that.
Yeah, so bringing in like-minded people, it's I've been incredibly blessed with the people that are here, and the amount of, even if Tinder Battles was canceled today, the amount of relationships that has already been started because of this project is something that you just can't put a value on, you know?
David, I feel blessed to be a part of it. It's such an incredible, incredible thing, you know? Like I
Yeah.
said, we get to connect with all these people that are sharing, things that we're alike. Everybody wants the business to succeed. Everybody wants to get the message out there that we are, one. We are one. All tenters should come together, and we should function as one and not put down this shop, put down that shop. We should come together as one. Um,
Yeah, I have my theories as to why I think there's a lot of division, and there's a lot of reasons to it, but especially like on Facebook and some of these groups where someone will ask a question and then right off the
that's what
bat,
they thought, like the whole tenter battle. They're like, it's a revolution thing. Like, no, it's not a revolution thing. It's a
yeah.
everybody thing. So they think it's only window film revolution is putting
No,
on this show and stuff. And I'm like, no, everybody's invited. No, it should be an everybody thing. Every tenter should be
yeah,
involved in it.
yeah, pretty much. It's about the tinter. Like, I always call everybody a superstar, and we have a lot of superstars in this, and I truly do believe that. And the one of the jobs that I feel through Tintertainment, but especially with Tinter Battles, where I'm really going out of my way, especially for the production of the entrances going into the battles themselves, because I want everyone to come out of there looking like they're a freaking rock star. Like, I want my job, if I do my job well, if you took a person who didn't know anything about our industry and just made them watch that event, and then you see teams coming out with their own team merch and cartoons and lights and music and all, it's like, whoa, what the hell? Like, man, these guys are rock stars. Like, what kind of entrance is that? Like, that's no normal person, like, that I'm going out of my way to really try to bring that grand presentation to every person competing
I
in the
think you
event.
did that with the whole wrestling thing. So how did that come about? That's awesome. That was
Yeah.
awesome.
That goes to like one of the other goals. One of the other goals that I have for the Texas Squeegee and Tintertainment and everyone involved is really to try to transcend the industry at some point in the future. Basically, I think through entertainment and educational value, that I want to basically get mainstream pop culture to take notice of who we are, because again, we have enough interesting people in this industry. We have enough genuine hearted people in this industry that the world would benefit if they knew about. So the wrestling thing was kind of one of those visions becoming a reality on a tiny seed of a scale, which is, how can we transcend the industry? I happened to go to Rome, Georgia with a squeegee, and was a part of a wrestling event with Rick Tallman and David Carley, and we were part of a little storyline there. The
How
work
did
so
did you get connection with that though? Where you are?
No, David Carley was the one that set that up.
Okay.
He's got connections in the entertainment industry. So he reached out to
Oh, okay. I didn't
someone.
know that.
Yeah, he reached out to someone, and they were connected with the wrestling stuff, and so they showed him some of our content, and like they're very familiar with all the promos and everything like that, especially when they see the smack talking, trash talking Texas Squeegee. They know this comes from their world, so they're like, oh yeah, we understand all that perfectly. So once I went in there, I was really lucky that they trusted me. Because to give someone a microphone and say, here, you're the one that's going to get heat from the crowd and you're the one that's going to stir the pot and you're a first-time performer in a ring, I was like, all right, well, I've done this in front of a camera for the window film industry, but let me give it a shot here. And so took that mic and cut that promo.
Yeah, that's fucking awesome. I want to be in that ring.
That ring is hard. No, but you know what happened that day too is like David Carley presented the World Tag Team belts. So there's actual belts that he got custom made. So whoever wins this competition, you're actually taking home. It's a belt similar like this.
Oh, wow.
But it's for teams. It's 2 of them, and they're white. And so whoever wins the competition is taking those home.
So that's awesome. Is the Tenter battle, it's not going to be televised, right?
It'll be live streamed for sure.
Okay, on Instagram, YouTube, and
you for sure Facebook. That's where most of the tenders hang out on Facebook. I'm thinking of probably doing about YouTube, but there's going to be live stream with all the segments. But then after that, I'm going to try to come out with as many content videos as possible with a documentary film as well. And the documentary film is why I want to document all like the real moments, the behind the scenes, what it took to put this thing together, people's thoughts, what the experience of Tinter battles means to them, and how we can improve on this moving forward into the future to keep making a bigger impact.
I feel like it's going to be huge in the future. I mean, this is just the starting point of it, So how many people do we have on the register attending?
A little over 100 in total as of right now. But, this next coming month, I'm going to be ramping up a lot of the marketing for it. So, whether it's so however many people show up, but that's going to be great. It's going to be an awesome time. But where we're going to get most of the audience to watch what happened is through the videos that are going to live on forever. Whether it's on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. I mean, that kind of content is going to be able to gather audiences today, tomorrow, next year, next 5 years, and stuff like that. So,
yep. Once you put content out there, I mean, I for a fact know when I got into tinting, I didn't even realize people were even watching my videos. So once you put content out there, it lives forever.
Yeah, you were like the first female that I saw as a tinter way back when. And actually, I've never told you this before, but every time like I've seen you put film on a windshield, you always use your scissors to do the first trim. I do that too. I started doing that after I saw you do it. So I always carry a scissors now. Every time I lay it out, I do it because when I saw you do it, I'm just like, I thought that you would have to do this. But no, you just boom and slice.
No, you just slide it. Yeah.
So
and to us, Dave actually started it. And I got it from him, but he really did film things. I'll give him the credit. But I was a huge, when I started, I was like, I wanted to document myself as a tinter. That's why I started, videotaping myself. But so he started it. Oh, someone had asked Mateo, is there really a difference having ceramic tint? So it's a tint question. You want to answer that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let.
Oh, heck yeah.
Go ahead. You answer that.
Ceramic tint is the most tint-defying tint that'll protect you from the sun and keep you from burning your skin because regular tint ain't going to do it. I'm assuming that's one of probably maybe a YouTube fan or something because I started my content on YouTube based on ceramic tint, putting the info out there. Then slowly it went from there to more entertaining stuff. So, good question.
100%. Yeah, great question. Who asked that? I'm trying to go through the question and then kind of, you're right. Courtney says you're right. Negativity breeds negativity. Jason is with us. Say hi to Jason.
Jason, the man, the myth, the legend at Tint Dude 3.
That is Carlos's Texas Squeegee's partner. Tint Dude 3.
partner in battles, brothers in life.
It's a family.
I do gotta say, look, as far as the Jason, man, the myth, the legend, they call Tint Dude 3, man, I'm very, very proud of how far he's come as well, because him and I have been, I kind of call him, like, he's been like my content brother from the beginning, because whenever I first met him, I had launched a podcast back in 2018, and this was before like a lot of the ones that exist now were there. But he was my first guest, and I drove up to Colorado to have him as a guest on that show, and that was my first time ever meeting him. So, you know,
I didn't even know about the show.
Yeah.
Where did you broadcast it?
If you go on YouTube, it's on my channel. If you put the Tint podcast on YouTube, you'll find it. It's an episode with me and him.
Okay.
And anyways, so our friendship really started from doing.
Is that how
together.
you guys met, when you flew up there to meet up with him?
In person, yeah. Yeah, that was our first moments were basically on camera, and our best moments have been on camera, which is kind of funny. Whereas some of our best moments, yeah. And I mean, really, Tinter Battles really started because, you know, I had episode number 3 for the reality show on YouTube for Texas Tint Masters, and it's kind of funny how sort of life prepares you for certain things that are going to come in the future. But for episode number 3, I wanted to have a few people, which I called the superstars, even at that time. I was calling them, the stars of the industry. And I'm going to have Jason and Dave Dellinger come to my shop, and we'll just put together like a little, like, you know, we'll have a day of tinting together, and then we'll make a video out of it, and we'll have some catering, and it'll be fun. And so we had that episode. Afterward, Jason and I were doing a little friendly smack talk about, you know, maybe who could tint better. So the next day we set up a car, and before I headed out to go meet him, you know, I've always been a wrestling fan, so I put my phone on. I'm like, I'm going to do a little bit of trash talking. So I started trash talking Jason. I'm like, Jason, you're going to go down to the Texas Squeegee, and at the end of this I'm good. I am Tinter. I'll own Tinter or something like that. And he shot one back, and it was like fun. And we live streamed it. And then from there, Billy was like, oh, me and Sean can take you. And then Dean Mitchell was like, oh, me and Dave could take you. And obviously I took it as a joke. I was just like, you guys are going to need way more than just y'all two to take on me and Jason. And so they made a little video. I made my response. And then from there, the freaking feuds just started going off. And so that's how we ended up to where we are today.
Isn't it cool how things just, you know, take on a life of itself? And it's like, you didn't even think of anything when it happened, right? You guys were just having fun, and it kind of just spiraled after that. That's how things should be. You know, when you plan things to the minute, it's like it never comes out as you plan. It's kind of like you got to just roll the dice, take a chance, and kind of like go with it.
Yeah. That's awesome. I mean, the whole thing really started off with just having fun. And that's the one thing I try to remind myself that every single day, everything that we do with Tinter Battles and Tintertainment, that it's about fun. Everybody wants to have fun.
Yeah.
And if our work, if our career, if our industry can become more fun, then it'll attract more people to it. And, you know, I feel like with that comes better innovation, and the quality of the average tinter is going to improve. So, and obviously, you know, you have superstars like yourself.
Thank you.
I mean, look. Well, no, it's true. Because look, you may not know, and I've told you this before, but you may not know, like there's a lot of women and even girls that are watching you as a window tinting queen, and you're a trailblazer to them. You're an inspiration to them. And at some point, somebody somewhere in the future, someone is going to be in a podcast somewhere or producing videos, and they're going to say, who was a person you looked up to getting into it? And they're going to mention your name. And that's the responsibility that I feel within myself as well. When you mentioned it, what about those days where you feel not motivated? And it's like, once you understand the impact that you're really having on people, it sometimes that's enough to kind of get you up and like, okay, let's just get through this for today, you know. But right now, this is going to live on, and it's going to inspire a lot of people that you won't realize until, you know, they start mentioning your name.
Yeah, to me, seriously, yeah. What gets me motivated is my daughter works with me. So she, you know, it's like she looks up to me. So to me, I have to be that, you know, I feel like I have to be that person, you know, so that's what motivates me every single day. She motivates me, because when you have somebody who looks up to you, it's like you can't let them down, you know?
Yeah. It's once you start putting yourself in content on videos, you have a lot more reach to a lot more people. And, you know, I don't know. I think one of a thing to me is also the kids, because kids are at the beginning of their life and they have so many choices and so much ahead in front of them that it was really important for me to try to bring kids somehow and involve them into the Tinter Battles event. And that's where the inspiration was sparked for having a kids tinter workshop, because in my mind I put myself in a kid's position. And I was a kid at a wrestling match and I felt like I could do anything. As a kid, sometimes there's that childlike spark that you have where you feel like you can be anything and anyone you want. When you're a kid, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be this, or I want to be. A lot of
But
people
it's what they're exposed to too. You're right, because when I grew up, I only knew doctor, teacher, and so they're not exposed to, even with my 7-year-old. What did your mom and dad do for a living? They're a tinter. What is that? They don't even know what it is.
Yeah.
So you have to. It's good that you're exposing. You're thinking about exposing kids to our industry.
Yeah, because look, for me, the reason why I was able to go to school, and I say this in a good way, because a lot of the people's image of our industry is that way. But I didn't have a real job, because I could work 2 days out of the week at a flea market and make a decent living, and use that financial support to pursue what I thought at that time was my happiness. And so, I wanted to bring, people and kids into our trade and craft, because it's not that it's going to turn him, that I want to turn everybody into a tinter, but it's a great skill to have. If it's a great skill to fall back on, and not do a life of like selling drugs or something negative like that. I mean, you can make pretty decent money, but you can pursue what you really, whatever it is that you feel is your happiness, So like in Tinter Battles, the segment is going to be, the kids Tinter workshop. And like what my intentions are is to provide them an opportunity to know what it's like to put on a piece of film and squeegee it, so that later on same day in the event, when they see the superstars of the industry come out, it kind of shows them, I'm like, you had your introduction, now you see what the professionals of the industry look, and we're all going to be having fun. So
Tinter Battle is a kid-friendly family event, right? We need to let people know, yeah. So, and then everybody's invited?
Tintertainment in general, the Tintertainment brand and all the content within it is family friendly. Now, sometimes some people kind of push the envelope a bit, but at the end of the day, it is family friendly. That's what I need it to be, and that's how it's going to stay. It's going to be a family friendly. So is Tinter Battles. Like Tinter Battles, there's like the fictitious rivalries and feuds and stuff like that, but it's for entertainment. At the end of the day, we're going to be showing one car being done by so many different ways. That's the educational part of the event. Is you're going to have Dean Mitchell that's probably going to bring his little easy tool or something like that. You're going to see Sean Roach. Yeah, you're going to see Sean Roach bringing over a pit crew to dismantle the car off the frame so that he can tint glass, and then Cody and Jared Becker, I don't know. I don't know how they tint, but they have a lot of chemistry, just like you and Dave. So it's gonna be interesting. Like I almost want to sit back and just watch tint, and I'll take my loss just so I could see.
I want to go around. I'm trying to be like, who wants to be our third swapping? Because we're all planning it out, and I'm like, okay, and cutting all the windows, when that's really what I'm good at. I mean, I want to say I'm not really good at tinting doors. I'm great at knocking out windshields, at doing sunroofs, at doing visors, at doing back windows. But when it comes to doors, I feel like I don't tint them enough. I love, because I don't like doing them. Yeah. It's just too many and stuff like that. But that's kind of what I wanted to do. I wanted to go around, film everybody that's working and kind of have fun with it. So we're not, people ask, are you guys training for this event and stuff? We're like, no, not really. We're not training. We're not really, we're just out there to have fun. We're not stressing about it. But if it was like what was it? The tent, not the, but what's the other one? The
tent off?
Yeah, the tent off. If it was the tent off, I would be training for it, because I feel like that's more a little bit on the serious side, where you're not having fun, one person per car, and stuff. But like Eric DeBosch has said, it has a different what is that called? We can learn from both events. You know, if you went to both events, I never really looked at it that way. Devosh kind of presented it, you know, in that manner.
Yeah.
I think, you know, because I always thought, hey, it's a boring event, but it's really boring because when I went, I didn't really know too much about the industry. And so when I went, that was boring to me.
Yeah, and like one of the things I want to kind of clear this up for anybody who's watching and for anybody who will be watching. Like, Tintertainment is not going against anybody. Tinter Battles is not an event against anything or anyone or any, and all Tintertainment and Tinter Battles is just adding something to the event. I'm not here to take anything down or take anyone down, like, not at all. This is all about unity, where regardless of where you come from or anything like that. And so, you know, I've never been to a tint off, and I'm actually going this June. I'm going to be up there with with Eric Devash and everybody else. So this will be my first time going there. But
I didn't know you were going to that event too.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
going to be up there. I'm going to be up there raising hell trails. But you're not going, are you?
No, we weren't planning on going. I mean, we just tickets and booked our thing. So we weren't planning on going. We rarely take vacations just because I don't know, business, you know, our business means the world to us. So we always, you know, vacation sporadic. I mean, it's kind of like every tent shop. That's where our work picks up. So pretty much it's hard for us to step away from it, you know, for more than, I mean, 2 events, it's hard. That's why we're not going. We usually pick one, and for us, Tinter Battles is the one that we chose, you know? That's why we're not going. But
yeah. Yeah, no, that's cool. I mean, I'm looking forward to meeting everybody. It's like that day in June 12th, man. That first meeting with everyone is just gonna be insane. Like, meeting everybody. Like, it's just so cool whenever you've seen someone on screen for so long and then you get to meet them in person, and it's like, oh, so this is how you're really like, you know?
Yeah, there's no filters or anything, you know. About, you know, girls with putting filters on their pictures and stuff. I'm guilty of it, I'm not gonna lie. I do it too. But
I hope you bring that crown, because I'm a huge fan of anybody doing anything individualistic. Like, I appreciate anything. So as soon as you in wrestling, they call them gimmicks, and it's a good thing. You know, a gimmick is like, okay, what's your stick? You know, so in wrestling they call them gimmicks, but I'm like, okay, you're the Window Tinting Queen, and you had when I first saw that, like, that crown, I was just like, hell yeah. Like, oh, that's awesome. I love that. I'm like, give me more. Where's your robe? Where's your, like, you know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you need to be in one of those thrones and stuff like that, being on a podcast. Have your own entrance. Yeah.
So when I got into tenting, and that's what Dave, he's like, we have to give you a name. You know, and then we were kind of going through different names and everything. You have to call yourself something, because he knew I was going to broadcast myself on YouTube. And we came up with like Tent Queen. And then he thought it was too generic. And he's like, no, you know, Tent Queen, because we looked it up and there's like beauty pages and a bunch of people had that Tent Queen. But when we looked up Window Tinting Queen, there wasn't anybody that had that name. So we're like, that's perfect. That's the perfect one. We went on, you know, and bought the whole website right away.
Wow.
That's what you have to do once you come out with something, because a few years later, I had someone approach me and wanted to sell me the windowtintingqueen.net. And I was like, no, I already own the .com. So, you know, I don't need to buy the . He actually went and bought the .net. So I'm like, I don't, and tried to sell it to me. And I was like, no, I think I'm good, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, that's true. Anytime you have an idea, you want to start buying domains and get the accounts. That way nobody can pull those shenanigans like that. No, once you bought the .com, someone coming into it with a .net is like, dude. Like, no.
So you can with your whole, I mean, with the Tinter Battle like webpage and everything, I mean, are you a computer? Do you know about like computer softwares and things like that? I know you said you designed it too, the whole platform and stuff.
Yeah, but no, I don't know it to that degree. I don't know. I don't consider myself tech savvy, but I just tried, man. I just tried whenever I need to do something. I just sit down, I Google it, I read through articles, and I figure it out. So I don't consider myself tech savvy, but yeah, I put that stuff up there together. A lot of times what I end up doing is I have a vision for how I want something to look or be. And then it's just about figuring out the mechanics to get there. So the website, I actually ended up redesigning it like 3 or 4 times.
Sorry, computer shut down. My Alexa is called computer, so she's computer shut down. When I said it, she kicked start. Sorry. So yeah, so you learned how to do all that platform and just everything yourself?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I had like direction. So like, for example, with putting the merch together, I would not have known wouldn't even know where to start. Eric Devash and Carrie actually were the ones who kind of said, hey, you should just look into this. And they told me a name. It might have been like third party drop shipping or something like that, drop shippers or whatever. And I Googled it and went through the steps, set the whole thing up, connected it to my website online. And then from there, just figuring out how to make designs and uploading them there and then transferring them over and stuff like that. So it just takes time. But at the end of the day, like that's one of those other concepts that everyone goes home and does something with their time. And sometimes like it's cool to go home and watch Netflix and do that stuff. But, like
not us. Yeah, not us.
Yeah. And see, like it's in order for this to happen with you, like you have to put time outside of your work. And that's the kind of commitment that a superstar has, which is why I think you are a superstar.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, it does take commitment, and dedication, and you have to realize that, the stuff that we are doing, that's what people don't realize. We're not making money from it. We're doing because it's a passion, for us. And so that's kind of what's motivating us to do the things that we do. Do we get paid for people tuning into our podcast and things like that? No, we don't. We do it on our spare time. And that's why I feel like if it's interesting to people should tune in and watch it.
Yeah. That's kind of funny how the other thing too, like there's a whole business aspect to a lot of what's going on in terms of getting it to where it needs to be. That again, learning all that stuff. I was a complete idiot. Like I had no idea, zero clue about how to run a business. Like all I knew is I knew how to tint and I didn't have to have a boss. But besides that, man, I started from like as dumb as you can think. That was me. And just picking up books and reading through them and going through harsh experiences and stuff like that. There's a whole lot of value that at some point in the future, I would love to give back to people going through the same or getting their foot in the door and stuff like that. There's on character on screen, you see the character is trash talking and it's in your face, it's loud or whatever, but there's a whole lot of substance that got that character to where it needed to be. And that's the part that at some point in the future, I really want to give all that stuff back and have the kind of impact that people around me have had on me. I want to have that impact on others. And that's really the full purpose of this everything that I'm doing.
Yeah, that's why the whole tinter battle with giving back to, why it's Donnie Dixon. And tell us a little bit about the whole Donnie Dixon.
Yeah, so I have to I attribute the Donnie Dixon's involvement in here was really coming from Dean Mitchell, because Dean he's got about one of the biggest hearts in this industry. He's it says a lot about a guy. I never knew who Dean was.
I didn't either. Yeah,
our friendship. Well, I mean, I knew he was with Expel and I knew he was a name, but I didn't know him as a person. Mm-hmm. And our first interactions with each other online was literally talking smack to each other. And I mean in a good way because of tinter battles. Like we were just trash talking each other like, no, I'm better than you. And like, no, I'm going to kick your ass. No, I'm going to whatever, stuff like that. And then one day, once this thing sort of took off, he started bringing Donnie's story into it. And hey, we should do something and use it to bring exposure to Donnie's story. I'm like, cool. So one day we got on the phone to have an actual conversation. And we were talking and all of a sudden we were like, wait, is this the first time we talk on the phone? He's like, yeah, I think so. I was like, well, hey, good to meet you. It's been nice talking trash to you all these past weeks. But like, I always think like in any friendship or relationship, to me, when it gets to the point where you can roast each other and kind of have that playful back and forth and joke, that's when you've got a real friendship. And with Dean Mitchell and I, it started that way before we actually had a conversation. So like, yeah, I have a tremendous amount of respect for Dean, except I'm gonna have to beat him at Tinder battles. But besides that, I love Dean. And he brought the Donnie Dixon story to light, and he's really been the one that I would attribute to having Donnie really involved in organizing a lot of the stuff that has benefited Donnie. Is to Dean Mitchell. So that's kind of how I became to this. And look, the way that I see it is, I try to do what I can to try to bring exposure and eyeballs to what we're doing. And if that exposure and attraction and attention gets dispersed into someone like Donnie Dixon or something like that, then that's the positive impact. Besides just unifying the industry, is that there's a beneficiary on the other end of it that's going to benefit. And I do plan on this becoming an annual thing, at least once a year.
So how many sponsors do you have so far to sponsor the Tinter Battle?
I have to go double check, but there's like about at least 10 of them, because there's two sponsor packages right now. One of them is like the for brands, like the big brands, and the other one is for shops, which is one of them that I recently launched. Was a sponsorship package for shops if they want to get involved and help the
So
event.
what do they get for the shops? Because we have I think some shop owners.
Yeah. So what I'm doing what I do for shops, and I'll be posting this, and I've already made a few merch because there's a few shops that already became sponsors. But for the shops, what I do is I create a design for them, and it's a Tinter Battles shirt, but in the back it has a cool, like, it looks cool. It says Elite Shop Sponsor, and then it'll have their logo here on the sleeve. And then I also make those designs for the tumblers as well. I send them out to those shops, and then the designs are there if they ever want to order more.
So it's how much to be the sponsor? You said you had two packages, right?
Yeah. So I mean, for shops, it's $500 a sponsor, and then for the event sponsors, it's $1,500. For the event sponsors, I'm having logo placements for them, and also a lot of the footage that I'm capturing for the Tinter battles, they're able to use it for their own ad campaigns. So, for example, Fusion is one of our sponsors, and they're going to be providing some tools for the Tinter battles event. So, whatever footage comes out of that, if they want to use it to help them out and bring value back to them, like, that's it. I'm all for that. I want everybody to come out of this thing feeling like they got a return on that investment. So.
Yeah, what should we do for the giveaway? Let's see. Yeah, it's the cup, but how should we pick our winner? Carlos, how should we pick the winner?
I don't even know. That's on the spot.
So do we want to ask them a question with what have you shared with us? You want to ask them a question like, what have you shared about yourself that you think people should know?
Well, I think a funny one could be, we can do like maybe fill in the blanks, where we start a catchphrase and fill in the blank. That's one. Or what's the one thing I say at the end of every smack talk? There's a line that I say, which is my exclamation point.
Okay, say that. So if you guys want to win, it's going to be a window tinting tumbler. So what does Texas Squeegee say?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to do a giveaway, which I do at every show that I, my podcast. We're going to be giving away a Window Tinting Queen tumbler right here. You guys can see. And to win the tumbler, what does the Texas Squeegee say at the end of every podcast?
Every promo that I do.
Every promo that he does. You guys watch the beginning. You would catch it. And
I'll give a hint. It's 2 words, and it's not "go tint yourself." That's one of them. Usually that comes before it, but there is a 2-word catchphrase that I always say for everything.
Okay, so the first person to comment, squeegee that.
That's it.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, Jose. Right? Is that who you saw?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's going to be who Dave sees on his screen, okay, you guys? So we do have a lag. So
we'll send it to both. I'll send one in. I'll send one in there.
Huh? Want to put it on there? You want to pick two winners?
Well, I mean, because you mentioned Jose, I'm like, you know what? I'll throw that one in there too.
Okay, Jose, you win too. Jose, you win too.
There
So
you
we're
go.
not gonna do you dirty. I mentioned your name.
And I'll tell you what, look, squeegee that. So I'll probably throw one in there, one of these two. So just send the address over. We'll send some their way.
Yeah. So who do we have so far? Who's the winner? Dean? Dean Mitchell? Dave?
Oh, Louie. Yeah, I know Louie. Louie and Celia off in Austin. Hey, Louie, if you're watching, I hope you come down to Tinter Battles 2021, son, because I've been trying to make my way up to Austin. I haven't been able to make it there, but hope to see you guys
Wait,
back
aren't you
down here.
guys in the same city, Austin, Texas, right?
No, I'm in Houston.
Oh, Houston. Oh, Austin. Wait, where's Austin at? Shows that I don't know my
your geography.
Yeah, I don't know my geography, you guys. I admit that.
Yeah, it's Austin's
And if
not
you guys
that.
don't know, English is my second language, okay?
What is your first language?
Laotian. I speak Laotian. Like,
Really?
teach you guys something. What do you want to know? Sabai D? What does that mean? Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of functions as two,
How do you say?
And then there's cuss words and say what? Bakhani means you asshole. That's what it means. Yeah, sorry. Ain't trying to cuss, I guess. We're trying to read it. Kids aren't watching, but
I was gonna say, how do you
usually
say squeegee that?
Oh yeah, there's not a word. See, there's not a word for something like that.
What about go tint
There's not
yourself?
a word for something like that.
What about go tint yourself?
Yeah, I can't even. Yeah, tent. It's not a word that I can even translate into like tent. I don't. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Dean Mitchell, Bahani. How about that?
And then there's a word for girls. It's ihani.
Oh, Dean Mitchell, Ihani.
That's a female word. Okay, so who did we say won? You have to send your
address.
Yeah, address to you, right? You could go ahead and send your address to me, and then I could forward it on to Carlos. But who was it that won? Okay.
Jose and Louie. I know Louie.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, I know Louie. I know who he is.
Okay, you know who he is?
Yeah, never met him, but I've been knowing him. We've been knowing of each other, and they're great people out in Austin. Great couple. I actually met them through Instagram. I don't know that they're really active on Facebook, but off of Instagram. And then his wife is Celia, which she's also a female tinter, and she was one of the people that I was trying to get come and compete with Louie, but they're not able to make it. But yeah, they're incredible people out there. They're really, really nice. Really one of those positive people in the industry. So that's definitely them.
I think I do know who they are. Yeah, he's with it. Let me see his profile. Yeah, he is, because when you say Louie, like I said, his wife, yeah, the whole Celia, she does follow me on my Window Tinting Queen page. Huh? What, babe?
So Tinter Battles 2021 going down June 12th and 13th live in Houston, Texas. Make sure to follow Tintertainment page. Join the Tintertainment group for all the fun and action that's going back and forth in between that. And go to tintertainment.com if you want to learn more about shop sponsors, everything else. Sean Roach is coming up next, so make sure to tune into his YouTube channel coming up here shortly. And Liz, anything you want to say before we sign out from this incredible Spill the Beans podcast?
Thank you guys thanks everybody for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. We got all the kinks worked out. I'm so happy that we did, because the last podcast, was a total fail. This one was a total positive. It worked out. Everything worked out to, how Dave envisioned it. Big thanks to Dave Rosenberg, for putting all this together. What you guys see, it's all the work of Dave. He worked super hard. every day, making sure that everything's right. Thanks to Ladera and Dave's mom, Angela, for kind of helping him, with putting all this together. They were our testers. And thank you, Carlos, Texas Squeegee, for coming on with me. I greatly appreciate it. And you guys, there's other podcasts that are out there. There's Jason's podcast that's on Instagram. And he does it, every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday. And he's been doing every Thursday leading up to Tinder Battles, but that's going to end soon, and it's just going to be strictly Tuesdays.
And his Instagram name is TintDude3. So follow him, and there's Bob Bruder that does his on Facebook. And what time is his? Do you know? Bob Bruder?
Bob Bruder is on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Central.
Okay, and then there's Eric DeBosch that does his on
Wednesdays, 6 p.m. Central.
And then it all. And then Marketing Mondays with Patrick. That's on Window Tint Pros, you guys. Patrick does his little. Yeah, and then Wayne from Fade to Black. There's so many, you guys. I mean, if you guys can catch any of that, it would, I feel like you can learn a lot, or you guys would be entertained, right?
There's, back in, so we have like a minute before Sean goes live, but it's incredible to see the amount of people that are creating content within this industry now, because I knew back when I first started getting into it, which is in 2017, there wasn't very much. You're one of the originals that I saw. Ralph, Matt Blackmare with Tint Stuff, and I think Sean Roach at the time was also doing it as well, but now there's
Sean Roach blew up.
Yeah, there's an explosion of content creators within our industry. It's incredible to see. So the industry is looking very bright in the future. So
yeah, you guys tune in. Like I said, you guys will learn a lot or have fun with it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carlos.
And we have one last thing, 25 seconds to go before Sean goes live. There is a YouTuber tinter battle between the Texas Squeegee and the Texas Tint Masters champions against Sean Roach and the Window Tint Warriors. So tune into both channels, subscribe to both to keep up with the rivalries back and forth. So Liz, this is the Texas Squeegee signing off, and I look forward to beating you down at Tinter Battles with David the Shaver. Squeegee that.
I think our fans going to vote for us, though. Okay. All right. We love you guys. Signing out.